Ren cast. How are we today? All right? Really good?
I'm good. Chilling.
When I say really good, I'm actually shaking in my boots. So, hello, those of you that have come to listen to us speak. We are Ren, the Girl with the Mark cast of various assortments. I will go and introduce each one individually. But long story short, we, as you have seen, are a crowd-funded series. And at the moment, currently, we have 188,000 subscribers on YouTube plus. I know, right? And yeah, I mean, Series 1, Episode 1 has 9.9 million views. And we couldn't be here today without our followers, fans, etc. So huge thank you to you. But let me not go on too much. Without further ado, let's introduce the cast.
Hi, I'm Ori. I play Ren.
Hello, my name is Florian Hencher and I play Tomas.
I'm Alex and I'm playing Hunter.
Woo! And I am Steph. I don't play anything anywhere as big as these guys, so we won't introduce that. But let's start off with a very brief summary of the show. So, Ren.
I'll tell you a little bit about Ren the Girl with the Mark. Just sort of like how the story is. No spoilers though. But it's kind of like a story about self-discovery, I'd say. But also a story about maybe realizing things that we're told and taught and fears that we might have might come from strange places and learning to overcome them. And inner strength. It's definitely about your own inner strength and sort of finding that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, do any of you have any, because there's quite a few themes that are explored within this. Does anybody have any, like, favourite themes that they've just been like, oh my god, I love to...
You're making me think now. It's dangerous.
Put you on the spot.
Favourite themes?
Or is there any one particular kind of relationship between the characters that you really like to see develop?
Is that? Go on, you go.
I mean, like when season 2 happened and we into season 3, there's sort of a massive change between Ren and Hunter, and for me the whole show from my perspective obviously runs around that. So I just I love the complexity of that relationship and what it means to each individual character, because obviously it means something very different to Ren than it is to Hunter, and for me, like, obviously I'm going to think that, but yeah, that's kind of what I would say.
So for running themes, my character's quite new to the show, so he comes in at the end of season 2, and then I pretty much, most of my character flourishes in season 3. And the running theme for him is there's such an arc for his character, because he starts off as a saviour, and without giving you any spoilers, obviously there's going to be a plot twist. And I think that plot twist for me as an actor playing that was very exciting, and obviously the relationship we have within the storyline, it's really hard. I don't know how much I can say without. It's so hard to not give any spoilers.
There are massive spoilers. I'm clocking you like.
I know, I can see.
I've got an eye on you.
I can see. But it's the emotional journey that he goes through for himself. I mean, I can only speak for myself playing him, but having to have almost a mask throughout the journey, and then obviously unveil that mask through my relationship with Ren, that would be one of my favourite themes.
And also other characters as well.
Yes.
Like.
And obviously we have a bit of a relationship that isn't on screen yet.
Yeah, I mean, if you are on the Patreon, which I know many of you are, there's a lot of like backstory on there as to how Hunter and the Archivists have crossed paths before, so I recommend finding more details on there. But yeah, that's kind of the backstory to that. I'm not going to tell you any of it.
This is so hard to not give you spoilers, but it's a good plot twist, I promise you.
Okay, so let's take it away from the spoilers then. So some of you may not know, but this series, each episode has a different director. And if any of you want to find out more about crowdfunding and also meet some of the directors, they are also doing a crowdfunding 101 later today, workshop-wise, 5:45. But for you guys, how did you find it having a different director per episode?
I really liked it. It is a little bit surreal, the first day of each one's looking at me right now.
Mark's just like, now.
Hello, Mark.
Who's your favourite?
Pick me. The first day of filming everything, when you have the new director, it's always like really exciting. It feels like the first day of being on set again, so it's really nice. And I do think you get a different vibe. Because I haven't seen season 3 yet, but from watching season 2, you do get a different vibe from each episode. You can see it's kind of shot through someone else's eyes, which is really fun for an actor to work with, because you get to try 4 different like sort of styles and versions of Ren, I guess.
Absolutely. And also, sorry, go on.
No, you go ahead.
I was going to say, some of these episodes have asked things of you guys that maybe you haven't had training in. So, for example, the phony pony.
Oh, the phony pony.
R.I.P. the phony pony.
Someone can,
pony.
please.
Yeah, so season 2 opens up on a chase scene, a horse chase scene between with Ren and Hunter. They're trying to get away from the bad guys. I call the Kanath. Yeah, some big action set pieces. So if like you like fantasy action vibes, then this is your bag. And we can't horse ride. We haven't been trained to do that. So
It was day 1.
It was day 1, yeah. So we were watching the professionals. We had it was a curly Hunter wig, which is hilarious if anyone's seen it. They're doing the action on the horses. The next days we get in the studio. We've got about 4 different people all around this horse, like moving it various
Just
different ways.
the horse.
And we're like having to like do all this.
The horse was a giant tyre.
Yeah, it was a tyre with like stuff built right. It was incredibly creative and amazing.
You did have some amazing stunt performers though that did that.
They're the ones that fit it all together, make it look realistic, rather than me and Alex just jumping on a tyre.
There were some amazing sets though. I mean, we're quickly, very shortly going to show a scene from the market, which I'll ask another couple of questions about. But that is a phenomenal scene for me in terms of dressing the set-wise on what was built by Rose was amazing. Did you guys have season 2 or season 3? Is there a favourite set amongst you guys that you...
Yeah, I mean, the most impressive thing about this show is the set production, like the production value that went into this. So my character lives in a castle, and obviously most of Ren took place more in the kind of the peasant world, if you like. Am I allowed to say that?
No, kind of
is that how you'd say it? And so when my character comes in, he's obviously of nobility, so his world is in a very different world to what you usually see in the show. And I remember the directors and Neil here talking about how they were looking at multiple locations to make Thomas's castle, where they were going to host that. And then I come to the studio for the first time, and they built the castle. The whole thing has been built inside this incredible warehouse. So for me, I think, do you remember, Ori, when we were doing the library scene? This is not giving spoilers, but it's this beautiful like alcove within the castle space, and it was how I want my living room to look. So I think for me, it would be the castle interior, because it was just so detailed and so layered and so well adapted to the character. There wasn't a single thing they hadn't thought about for him. And I'm trying not to give spoilers. It's so difficult, but there you go. I'd probably say the castle interior.
But I think what's really amazing about the castle interior is that it's the same studio place that is the market.
Yeah.
And that's what's amazing about working on Ren, is that the art department just transforms a space into something that is really realistic. Like on nearly no budget, they can transform it and make it look like something.
And then
that
we
is
went away
believable.
for like 3 days to do filming at a real castle, and then we came back, and that same studio was within 3 days was converted into the exterior of a castle. So it became a castle turret, which was where we did the fight scene. So yeah, it was incredible, and I think you see some of that in the trailer as well.
Absolutely. I think without further ado, I think we should show you some of this amazing set. So if we can tech.
You like books, young lady? Forbidden knowledge, each page worth death. And caused it too.
We're looking for someone called the Archivist. Do you know where we can find him?
Sounds like a fancy gent. You sure you're in the right place, dearie?
Yes, many bargains to be found. But many scams, many tricksters. Inspect the merchandise carefully before you buy. This is Joran's advice.
Get away with ya! A fine tale, that. Love and adventure. The forces of good and evil locked in an eternal battle, and love. Oh, did I mention the love?
And how would you know that? Nobody's been able to read this stuff for 100 years.
You're a long way from the gates of Styx.
Wait, how did you know that?
By the sorrow of creeping wood barrow, girl. For you, only a stag.
I don't have that much.
You may have caught at the beginning of the trailer where actually Alex or Hunter betrays Ren to a certain extent. So let's go into that a bit, because obviously Hunter's kind of journey, particularly in season 2, I think you go through some really sensitive moments, and then you kind of it fluctuates. Like how do you find, from kind of reading it as a script to going to screen? Like, is there kind of anything that you a process that you go through, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, when we did season 2 and the first half of season 3, I was very keen to, first of all, physically drop a bit of weight, because he's constantly trying to survive. So he's hunting, so I was like, I want to get a bit, feel a bit lighter, because he's constantly going to be scavenging for food. But then obviously you start to think about what's happened to him and how he feels about his relationships with all the sort of previous people in his life, thinking about Liana and how, you know, how that relationship happened. She ended up dying in season 1, and then how he ends up betraying Ren, and all these people that are really important to him, for some reason they get taken away from him through his own fault or not. And season 3 is kind of about, he goes on more of a journey to learn about himself and his compassion within himself, because he sort of just tries to get a bit more, you know, more compassion within him. Ren teaches him that in season 2, and he gets more and more receptive to it. But then when crunch time comes, he does ultimately betray her. And then season 3, he's dealing with those consequences and figuring out a lot of stuff about Liana. We delve into that stuff. We delve into other stuff in his past, where Hunter's from. And yeah, that's kind of what it is. It's all about developing Hunter's compassion as we go, I think, from me.
And there's a I really enjoy the connection that you three have together, like in your individual moments on kind of screen. Is there, like, did it just kind of come naturally, or is there anything that you kind of did to, like, how did you build that chemistry, or was it just automatically because obviously I auditioned helped audition with both of you, kind of like reading against you, but I obviously had never met met you, Alex,
Didn't even need to audition.
You just rocked up. But obviously, yeah, there's got to be that kind of grip between the two to kind of, especially those emotional scenes, bring stuff out.
For me, coming in obviously later, I didn't get to do many scenes with Alex for a while, and I think that actually helped us for the character dynamics that we have, which you're going to see in season 3. But me and Sophie Black, who's a director out here, Sophie was the one to introduce me into this project, and my first day on set was coming in right at the end of season 2. So I had 1 day filming, and I had to wait. How long was it? I had to wait until we were back on for season 3.
A year and a half.
A year and a half. That was tough.
Crowdfunding, guys.
Yeah, but when I met Ori, obviously I spent the day with you. I met you first, and the difficult, I mean, it's the corpsing and the fact we have such a similar sense of humour. So we knew we were going to get on great from that point. But then obviously it's channeling that into being professional and obviously getting into the root of our characters. But I think having a friendship offset really helped us to having that bond really helped us to go into the intensity of these characters and be there for each other, because there were moments where you feel yourself struggling, as an actor because of what your character's going through. But then for me and Alex, obviously our characters, they are enemies. And so when we finally got to work together, we had such an intense scene together where we spent 72 hours, was it? Or maybe about that, learning to do fight sequences. And I think then our bond as actors came through much more physically and aggressively, wasn't it? And I feel like that was, I went through 2 very different journeys with both of these actors, but both wonderful. And you can't help but bond out of that, and get you become a family because you're working so intensely together in a realistic way you would in a normal job, you know.
I mean, you touched on the fight sequence. There are some
Yes.
amazing action sequences in these seasons by Ronan from ID Fights. Brilliant fight choreographer. I know, I mean, obviously, I had a little bit of fight training for my scenes, but had you guys ever done any fighting before? Or was it like a novice, like, oh my god, how do I
It's
use
me
a
not since
sword?
drama school. Same for you guys.
Did a little bit. I've recently taken up professional wrestling, so I'm getting better at it.
Noted, we'll be ringside.
Oh yeah.
No, that's amazing. I mean, I find it phenomenal as well how just from a casting point of view, like I was obviously in the room when two of you were there, and there are little bits that I kind of see that come organically to you guys from there, and like it's been really nice to see how you've developed those. So here's a little cheeky question here. Who do you think is the most similar to their character?
No.
No comment.
We have a WhatsApp group chat, and I said, you guys are going to drop me in this. And there's Sophie giggling now. So when this role was cast, how do I explain? Okay, so the archivist, he's a very flamboyant character, and I in my own time, you know, prior to doing Ren, I've always done a lot of historical period drama work, and then when I read the character Thomas, I thought, okay, I understand why I've been cast in this role. I would say in terms of my character's aesthetic and his general taste, I would say I resonate muchly with him. But I don't know, you guys are really like your character. You've got the drive and ambition of Hunter. And
Yeah, I mean, I think it's hard to not be right. If you're playing them, you've got to have, you know, they are you to a certain extent. It's your face, you know. So, yeah, I identify with a lot of Hunter's sort of deep desire to find the answers within himself and within the world he's in, I would say.
And I think also, Ori, you have like the inner strength that Ren has as well. Like,
I do think that I see a lot of myself in Ren. Sometimes, especially because she does start off like quite naive, and she's very trusting, and is maybe got herself into some situations where she's maybe trusted people that she shouldn't have. But on her own journey has sort of like found a way to use her things that she thought were weaknesses to her advantage. So I kind of, I relate to her a little bit, sort of like always trying to see the best in things. Trying.
just like little thumbs up there. I love
Everything's
that. So, but I think most of all, Ren's journey is like the biggest arc. So what would you say is like, let's say two defining moments, one in season 2 and one in season 3. Like, what are the most defining moments, do you think?
Season 3 would be hard because I think that might be a spoiler.
Okay.
But
no
I do think for season 2 for sure, the betrayal at the end is a defining moment. I think it really affects Ren into season 3, and she doesn't know who to trust anymore at all. Thanks a lot for that. She doesn't.
Yeah.
She really has.
Just say the lines.
It's my job. I just think she hits, after that happens at the end of season 2, she hits a point where she is at the lowest of the low. And if you've seen season 1, you'll understand why. Like, there's just a lot of things that happen to her. And I think I see season 2 as her trying to get a bit of her power back, and then she gets absolutely deflated at the end. So season 3, she enters it with a different mindset, already with her walls up a little bit. There's not as much trust there as there was. I think that's a big defining moment for Ren from season 2. And yeah, I don't want to say anything from season 3, but
I think if we keep touching on season 3, it'd be great to see a few behind the scenes moments from season 3 and like how that is created. So I don't know if the tech guys can...
I've not seen this behind the scenes. What have you guys caught?
Oh.
Are you excited to start filming tomorrow?
Now we've got some big fight scenes coming up, so it's all very exciting. see behind me some of the amazing art department volunteers who are just finishing off the last bits and pieces of the town.
Happy birthday to you. And action!
In the lights of Neareth.
This is basically a very important scene in our story. I'm not going to tell you what it's about, so you'll have to wait and see.
No spoilers.
They're all built by an art department. And everything's completely crowdfunded. We don't have any sort of big money behind us. Everything's from Patreon, and all the money just goes straight into the costumes, the set, and it's just incredibly. It's amazing what it is, and yeah, again, feel very proud.
I think the vibe on set is just everybody is so passionate about the project. There's such a love for the project, and the want to bring that. I feel like I was saying this the other day when we were going to Colchester Castle. It just keeps getting better and better and better, and it's thanks to those that support us on Patreon, honestly, and the fans and followers that also share the story as well. I think is amazing. I do also, it was one question that kind of came up through that is just a reminder of sometimes how long things on set can take. We're just a small team. How do you guys as actors kind of, I guess, find the energy? Because you're literally flicking from mindset to mindset. Sometimes you could be filming one episode, for example, we were at Colchester Castle the other day, and we on one day did 3 different episodes, and you're kind of dotting about in the timeline. How do you kind of channel your energy and so that you're not kind of fatigued, I guess?
I think when you're on a long day with Ren, it's very different to being on other film sets, because I think film sets often have a lot of waiting around. But Ren, we do things really fast because we've got not much time and no one's getting paid from it, so we've all taken time off to do it, so we know we've got to get it done. So you do have to be ready to go kind of at any point. Sometimes you're not. Sometimes you might be a bit sleepy or feeling a little bit run down, but we do really, really lean on each other. That's why I think it's so important to have something like Ren done by just people who love doing it, because sometimes, you might need to turn to someone and be like, I'm not doing too well, or I might need a hug, or there's always someone that if they clock eyes with you and you don't look a little bit, you might look a little bit insane, and they'll ask you if you want a coffee, and you're like, yes,
do you need a coffee? It's like the regular or a biscuit.
But it is definitely the people that boost each other up. I think both of you have saved me in times of me being verge of spiral.
Likewise, though. Likewise. I mean, there was that one day. I mean, I should share it. It was the pinnacle point for me where I really had a bit of a breakdown, and you pulled me through it. It was because my character has because of his background, he has so much knowledge and learning. As you said, it was like learning a history book. And obviously, coming into the series later, I had to learn everything and then bring it into my character as though he'd always been there. And there was just one day where I think we were coming towards the end of shooting, and then there was the fight sequence, and then there was the big scene that I'm not going to say, but it's all this language, this fantasy language, and you're learning your lines, you're trying to get enough rest at night, and then me and Ori we were waiting for action. It was on your set, Mark, and my brain just lost everything. I didn't, you lose the lines, you lose the energy. Ori just grabbed my hands and was like, "You've got this." And I was like, I think I've lost it. I can't do this anymore. And then you were like, "You're gonna be so proud of yourself once this is done." And then and it happened. We did it. And So it's the support we give each other, and knowing that we're all going through it, and yeah.
There is so much admiration for everybody on set, both in front and behind camera. Like, everyone just pulls together. I think it's amazing. Before, I do have a walk around mic, so if anybody has any questions, obviously raise your hand. So before, I'll give you a little bit of time to think, just in case you do have one. Just kind of whilst they have a little think, your favourite moment on set. And this is the time where you can actually throw someone under the bus.
That is hard.
There are a lot. There are a lot.
Daily, there are favourite moments. That's the thing.
I'm thinking, is it one where we got the corpse, we're corpsing, we're giggling, having the best time, or is it the most impressive thing that we did?
Both. Go for both.
Both are memorable. Both are memorable.
I love the one where there was pegs everywhere. And it made it onto a shot
I don't
once,
think
and we were like, oh.
Neil liked that one.
You're going to have to explain the peg thing, because when I joined this cast, they were all playing this game with pegs. And I was like, why do people have pegs pinned onto their hats and
I think we should leave them a mystery.
Oh, fine.
There are no pegs.
Who? What pegs?
What pegs?
I'll explain. If you ask me in the audience, I'll
Long story short, just to keep the vibe up, it was just an entertaining game where we would mysteriously peg or try and put a wooden peg on somebody, and you'd have to kind of make them not notice, and it just kept things light and fun on set.
But when it's on your costume and then you start filming, you're like, I've got a peg on my back of my.
There was literally one time in the market, and it was like peg on set. We had to. Everyone was like.
He's done it.
Yeah.
I think I would say my favourite moments. Back to your question, sorry, is whenever because when you're in it and like you've got all this set around you, and you've got all these if it's a big extras day like in the market and stuff, all this stuff happening around you, and you're trying to do your job, and then you come around and they're like, oh, do you have a look? And then you have a look, and then you see the whole thing together, and those moments I'm like, oh, this is sick, this is so sick. So yeah, it's every time I get shown a shot which I don't know how it's going to look, and then it just looks amazing, because you see the quality of the, it's crazy. Neil DOP is mad talented.
One of the shots that I find most impressive is actually season 2, and it's when you guys are having a discussion by the river.
It's one of my favourite scenes.
I don't know if any of you have seen it. If you haven't, please go on and watch it. It's set by a river. Actually, if you panned out, it's just in a car park of a farm. But like the way that it's been dressed and the way that it's been lit, like it was amazing. You would not be able to tell. The production values on this and how everything looks is insane. I love that. But yeah, I'm rambling here. Does anybody have any questions? Oh, I have a. Let me.
That's a great question.
That's really lovely.
I had this moment with you actually. It was at the rap party, and you said, I can't wait to come back for season 4. And I remember thinking, let's just say we'll become big superstars after this. It's something I would still want to come back to, because this is, however successful you get in your own careers, coming back to this, it elevates everybody. And obviously I wouldn't want to lose this experience, But I remember that was, yeah.
I think that is what it is. You get onto the set of Ren and you realise everyone's like a family, and everyone gets on. It's just such, you walk in, and even if people are tired and they're hungry and they've not slept in a few days, they're still smiling, they're still really happy to see you, to work with you. So there's no way that I want to leave working on Ren. I'm sticking around. Yeah.
Sorry, I can't say the exact point. Just when like a few days in, when you start to vibe with everyone and you sort of get to know the team, and the core of it stays pretty consistent. So you're seeing the same people every year, and it's just wonderful, and it's such fun. So yeah, I would just say it was very early on, probably like day 1, day 2, probably. I'm very easy to please, it seems.
I think also from a person who is not a lead character but has done a little bit of acting and a little bit of AD work, like when you come back on set in whatever capacity, you're always met with a smile. Like it's just like a massive, everybody's hugging you, everybody's like, oh, how have you been? Like all this sort of stuff. I think that as well is just, it speaks volumes, I think. Was there anything kind of light, fun challenges, or something that you were just like, ooh, I've never done this before? anything that kind of came out that you kind of learnt from or you found really funny?
Who's going first?
One of the challenges of working on the set of Rat is just not corpsing, because there's a lot of silliness that can go around, because everyone's friends, everyone's having a good time, and it is just sometimes just before.
It's because it's so intense, isn't it?
Seconds before you do something, and then you'd start crying, and your makeup would be messing up, and you'd be like.
She would clock me about to corpse, and she'd be like, "Don't, you're going to ruin your makeup." And I'm one of those, I'm a crier when I laugh, and she'd be like, "Don't do it." I'm like, "Now you're telling me not to, and you're doing something that's going to make me cry."
But that is honestly, that is lovely to say that the hardest thing is not laughing at something. But I'm trying to think of other challenges. Go on, Alex.
I would say a couple of things are the physical challenges of repeating fight scenes. When it's getting late in the day, you just have to turn it on and like, you got to maintain and keep going and yeah, until you get the shot and you get different angles. So like, there's a physical fatigue in that for sure. Learning the choreography, remembering the choreography, doing it at speed. There's a real challenge there, but you get a lot of support from Ronan and the fight team, ID, they're all great. I think as well, like, you know, as much as this is a fantasy show, we're tackling big themes here. There's a lot of, very intense themes. It's very, talking about people's existence and their life changing massively, and and as much as it's like far away from us with like powers and swords and like horses and all this, it's like it's very human stories, and I guess like giving that its appropriate weight and giving as much as you can to it is, I would say, it's quite a big challenge for me. You want to give it your best, obviously.
I'd second that as well with the fight choreography. That was something, I mean, obviously, you learn the fight choreography a certain way, then as soon as it's put on camera, obviously the director's going to make decisions that may alter that. So we're not only learning fight choreography quite quickly, that's physically demanding and very technical, it's also being shaped constantly in the moment. And yeah, I don't know, we killed it though, we did good. I'm really proud of that. That's one of my proudest moments as well, is the fight choreography, doing the fight scenes.
I'll give you another challenge. So for those of you, I don't know if any of you follow us on social media. If you don't, we're Ren the Girl with the Mark. But I did put a question out there if anybody wanted to ask anything. And one of the questions was, what is your favourite line in the series? Now, obviously, some of these could be spoilers, so, you know.
I think mine's, Ren, the starter story is coming in 5 minutes. It's not really, that's not a lie.
My favourite line is from season 1, and it's, "You're not right, Ren." And I carry that with me. I use that for Ren's character. She's just not right. She's just not right, pal.
My entire existence is a spoiler right now. I don't know how to...
It can be somebody else's line.
My favourite line inside... Oh, no, that's hard.
That wasn't Ori's line.
Oh, you're going to have to come back to me on this one.
We'll come back to the end.
This is...
We'll come back to you. It's stewing. He's mulling over. We'll move on. We'll come back to you. And then another one that I think would be quite nice, without spoilers, for anybody who hasn't seen the series, that would make them want to see the series in terms of what is going to surprise them about this show.
I know that we've mentioned it a few times, but I think the truly surprising thing about Ren is that everyone is volunteer, and that when you watch it, it will not look like it's made on low budget or solely by volunteers. It is. I know that I'm in it, so I'm biased, but whenever I watch something back from Ren, I always feel amazed to be part of it, because I'm just in shock that we made that, and that as a group that we've been able to create that. And I think that's the most surprising thing. If you know really how much money has gone into it and what's been created, that's the most surprising thing, I think.
Absolutely. And again, I cannot thank our Patreon members enough. And if you are wondering what Patreon is, like, we have different memberships, and you can get different freebies. There's audiobooks on there, there's stories about the characters that you won't actually see within the series itself, but it's all their backstory and lore and various other bits and pieces, downloads, wallpapers, all of the rest of it it's like a whole other world. So yeah, if you aren't a member of Patreon and you want to know a bit more about it, definitely go and have a look. Sorry, I just overtook that. Alex, you said you were going to say something.
Yeah, I think the story of how Ren is made is fascinating. I think when I first found out about it, and I got my audition through for it, I watched it and I was like, this is crazy cool. Like, this is on YouTube? Like, this is mad. And then I got cast and then I became obsessed with it. And I went back and watched all the little documentaries and I was like, I tried to find out how they did all this. Because if you haven't seen it before, it's obviously all fantasy, it's 10-minute episodes, 15 minutes, it all looks insane for no budget. And then the story of how it all comes together, the fact they made it 10 years ago, then it came back, and then we got cast, and then we did season 2, and then season 3 looked like it might not happen. We then crowdfunded, we got loads more money. Like, there's a story behind the story, which I think is so interesting too. And that's one of the reasons why I love it, where I'm like, what's the next part going to be? Like, what's going to happen next? Because we're all getting better, it's getting bigger, it's scaling upwards and upwards. Like, what's next? And that excites me.
I would say just watch. The most surprising thing would be watch the first episode and you'll see what we saw as actors. Because when I was approached 2 years ago now for this role, I didn't know anything about it, and then when I went on to found the fandom, if you like, and then I found the first episode on YouTube, I was blown away by how high quality the production was. Like, think of your favorite fantasy show, and these guys are doing it. And then it's wonderful to be a part of that.
I think it literally has something for everyone. It has action, fantasy, it has a little bit of a will they, won't they in terms of romance. Like, I think, yeah.
Enemies to lovers.
I do think there is something for everyone. So, yeah. Now, we've actually ran out of time. Unless anybody has one last question that they would like to ask. Anyone? No.
Jerry, have you got a question?
Yeah? He's like shaking.
Covered everything really well.
Yeah, I've got a question I've been sitting on the whole time. So you guys' dynamics with the fight scene as well, is there anything that went wrong but happy accidents? Any happy accidents?
Oh.
Brilliant question.
You want to say it? What did you do to me, Alex?
So, he's got a crown on.
That one. That was a great one. That's a great one.
He's got a crown on. I'm fighting him. His crown hooks onto my shirt.
But I'm trying to keep my wig on.
Yeah. So he's like thinking about his wig.
The cameras are rolling, and I'm like, they won't notice. But I'm like this to your shirt.
So he's down, and I have to do this big like shunt thing. So I shunt it. As I do, camera gets all this. His crown flies off, hits the candle that's right in the shot, and knocks it off. And it was stunning. Like, I say it, you're like, what?
You couldn't have choreographed that
like,
shot.
It's stunning.
Have we got it?
We haven't got that shot.
Being BTS, look out on YouTube, it'll be there.
That was. You couldn't have tried to get that shot if you planned it.
I love
Did it
that
make
happy
the cut,
accident.
Neil, that shot? No.
Neil's like, maybe not. Oh no! Well, thank you so much for joining us on the leather seats, on the leather couch. Thank you all of you guys out there for coming and watching. Again, we are Ren, the Girl with the Mark. Please look us up on YouTube and other socials. Obviously, our Patreon is available for kind of behind the scenes and stuff as well. Our main series is up on YouTube. Season 3 is coming out, and we'll just play a trailer just for those of you that have just joined, just in case you don't know what we're talking about. And if you would like to, if you're interested in crowdfunding or your own project, or if you're interested in meeting any of the directors, there is a Crowdfunding 101 project workshop at 5:45 upstairs, I believe. I can't remember which room, but it's going to be on your schedule. So without further ado, we'll sign out with one last look at the Season 3 trailer.
Don't cry, Ori.
Payment on delivery.
I was dragged into a carriage by 2 of your goons.
I never thought I'd see this in my lifetime. A new Mari.
Hunter sold me out.
It'll be worth it.